You know those questions that seem small, but secretly tell you everything about a person? Today I'm sharing 3 of my favorites. The kind of questions and little games that can turn awkward silence into deep, honest conversations. If you've ever sat across from someone and thought, how do I really get to know you? This video is for you. 1. What are you thinking right now? I remember my dad asking me this when I was a kid, staring out of the car window while he drove us all over Europe. I must have been 6 or so, completely lost in my own little world, watching the scenery blur past. Those felt like the best times. No phone, no responsibilities, just daydreaming about made-up stories and places. When he'd suddenly ask, "What are you thinking right now?" It always pulled me gently back into the moment and made me feel really seen. Like my inner world actually mattered? That question is great when there's a small pause in the conversation and you don't want to force anything. It's not, "What do you do?" or "How is your day?" It's more intimate and present. You're basically inviting the other person to open a little window into their mind right now. Their worries, their daydreams, their random thoughts. And you can answer honestly yourself too. Even if it's something simple like, "I'm thinking about how cozy this place is," or "I'm actually a bit nervous, but also happy to be here." Used kindly, it can turn a quiet moment into something meaningful. Sometimes the answer is deep, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's just, "I'm thinking about fries." But whatever they say, it tells you something real about how they experience the moment and how comfortable they feel sharing their headspace with you too. The backstories game in public places. This one isn't exactly a question, more like a little game that secretly tells you a lot about the other person. If you're at a bar, cafe, or restaurant together, you look around the room and pick a random person or couple. Then you both try to come up with a backstory for them. Who they are, what they do, what kind of day they've had, why they're there. It instantly takes pressure off the conversation, because instead of focusing on you two, you're co-creating little mini-stories about strangers. It can be really funny and surprisingly revealing. You'll hear how the other person imagines people. Are they kind, playful, empathetic? Or do they go straight into harsh, negative assumptions? I once played this on a date, and it completely changed how I saw the person I was with. There was a guy sitting alone at the bar. Maybe he was waiting for someone. Maybe he just wanted a quiet drink. But she immediately decided he was a pathetic loser with no friends who hated his life. And it wasn't just once. Everyone she picked got some cruel, bitter storyline for no real reason. The game itself is fun, but the way someone plays it can be a huge green flag or red flag. A kind person might imagine that the tired waitress is actually an art student working on a secret project, or that the old man in the corner is celebrating something quietly. Someone more cynical might project their own unresolved stuff onto every stranger. Either way, you learn a lot about their sense of humor, their level of empathy, and how they see people in general. And you'll know pretty quickly whether your vibes actually match 3. If you had unlimited time, money, and land to build anything, a house, a park, a monument, whatever, what would you build? This one sounds a bit like an interview question at first, but if you give it space, it can turn into a really deep and fun conversation. You're basically asking, if nothing was holding you back, no budget, no limits, what kind of world would you create for yourself? It gently reveals their taste, their priorities, and what home or beauty means to them. You can keep asking follow-ups. Where would it be? Who would live there? What would it feel like to walk through it? I came up with this question while I was dating my last partner. When I asked her, she didn't hesitate at all. She went straight into describing her dream house. She imagined wide, open spaces with huge windows, mosaics on the floor, soft light everywhere, and a crazy, colorful garden outside with plants from all over the world. As she kept talking, it stopped being just about a house and started to show what she truly valued: light, color, creativity, and nature. It turned into this long, surprisingly intimate conversation where I learned much more about her than I would have from typical small talk. You can also learn if they're more practical or dreamy. Some people will design a peaceful, eco-friendly community or a giant public park where everyone can come and relax. Others will describe a cozy little house in the woods or a high-tech futuristic home. There's no wrong answer. The fun part is listening to why they choose what they choose. In the end, you're not just talking about buildings. You're talking about what kind of life they secretly wish they could live. If you liked these questions, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what you'd ask someone to really get to know them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.